Good morning all. Welcome back to our course on the C programming language. In today's session I am going to discuss about two important functions that we have in the C programming language, and that too those functions deal with the files concepts. The first function what I would like to discuss is the ftell function, and the second function what I would like to discuss is the rewind function. Ftell and rewind. By looking at the names of these functions, you might have got some idea that this ftell function is going to tell something about it. So what this ftell function is going to tell is it is going to tell the position of the file pointer. Position of the file pointer. So let me explain it with a simple example. Assume that I have a file here and I have contents like this, and initially I know that my file pointer will be pointing to this first position, but after writing some number of lines of code, assume that you have made some modifications to the file pointer, you have moved the file pointer in the forward direction or backward direction, whatever it may be. Assume that at one point of time the file pointer is pointing to this particular position, and you don't know that this file pointer is pointing to this byte. Assume that this is 80th byte, and when you want to know where your file pointer is, to which byte your file pointer is pointing to, then you can make use of a predefined function which is called as ftell, which tells the current position of the file pointer. So if you look at the syntax of this ftell, it has only one parameter that it is going to accept, that is file pointer, file star fp. And as I told that this ftell is going to give the position of the file pointer, we assume that it is going to return some value, 80 it is going to return. And this 80, remember that this is from the with respect to the starting position. Always remember, with respect to starting position. So from starting position the file pointer is at 80th byte. So the ftell is always going to give the value of the current byte from the starting position. And we may be in an illusion that ftell is going to return a value which is nothing but an integer, but remember it is going to return long int. That's it. This is all about the ftell. Very simple function. And another function is the rewind function. As the name itself indicates that we are going to rewind it. So if you know the concept of tape recorder, in the olden days we used to have the tape recorder. In that we used to have a button called rewind button, and that rewind button is used to move the file pointer from the current position or from one point to the starting position. So if you just press the rewind button, the tape will move to the starting position. In the similar fashion, this rewind function in C programming language also makes the file pointer to locate or to point itself to the starting of the file. That means it is going to set the file pointer at the beginning of the string. You assume the same example what we have discussed right now. We have a file and we have some n contents here. Assume that after n manipulations the file pointer is pointing to 80th location. This time I don't want to know the position where the file pointer is. I just want to make the file pointer to locate to the first location. So you just have to call this rewind function. That's it. When you call this rewind function, the file pointer, wherever it is pointing at the current position, it will simply move the file pointer to point to the first location. This is the purpose of this rewind. When you look at the syntax of this rewind function, it has the name as rewind, and it accesses only one parameter. Very simple. If it is one parameter, obviously it will be a file pointer, right? And What can be the return type? Since it is not returning anything, it is not returning an integer value, it is not returning a pointer, it is not returning a character value. It is just making the file pointer to move from the current position to the starting position. So the return type of this rewind function will be void. So this is all about the ftell and rewind functions. Very simple functions to move the file pointer to the starting position, or to move to tell the position of the file pointer, right? So let us take a simple example of discussing these ftell and rewind. Let me give you the C program to illustrate the concept of rewind function. So I take hash include stdio.h, and this is my main function. Okay, I take the close open parenthesis, and I make use of the file pointer file star fp, and then I open the file. Let me take the file name as file1.txt, and let me write some text into it. So I would like to open it in the write mode. Okay, now I use fputs function. This is a C programming class, and the second parameter is fp. Let me see whether it has executed correctly or not. Let me run it. Give me 1 minute of time. Let me execute this one. See here, I got the file1.txt as this is a C programming class, right? So I am prepared with this file1.txt. Let me remove it, and I am going to take one long integer variable to catch hold of this position. Since the ftell is going to return the position, I just want to make use of it. So I want to use the ftell function ftell of fp. Okay, and I want to print this value. F close of fp. So what I have done here is I have opened a file1.txt. I have entered some text here. This is a C programming class, and by using ftell function, I just want to know the position of this file pointer, right? So let me run it. See here, the current position of my file pointer is at the end. Why? Because after inserting this sentence or the string, this is a C programming class, the file pointer will be pointing to the last character, that is S. Here it will be pointing. So if you count the number of characters in this particular string, here you will have 29 characters. That is the reason why the ftell is returning a value of 29. But before this, I just want to use the rewind function. Now let us see what is the value we get here. So why we got here 29 means, see here, I have entered the text, this is a C programming class. Now my file pointer will be pointing to the 29th byte, and I have stored the value of I using ftell at that particular location. Therefore 29 will be stored, but after that you have rewinded it, and then you are trying to print the value of I. You just need to exchange these two lines, that's it. Rewind means it should point to the first location. See here, after rewind you can observe that the position of the file pointer is 0. Therefore it is pointing to the first byte, which is nothing but 0. So this is the purpose of the rewind function. And here I have seen that ftell has been used to identify the position of the current position of the file pointer. Now let us see, I make use of some fseek function. Fseek function I use, and I just want to move the pointer to my desired location. Right. For example, the first parameter will be the file pointer, the second parameter will be offset, let me give it as 10, and my third parameter is whence, therefore seek underscore set, let me say like this. And at this point, after executing this one, the file pointer will be moved to the 10th byte. And if I get the position of the file pointer by using ftell, let us see what is the value that I will get here. See here, I got the value as 10. Now I would like to make use of another fseek function. Now I will give the value of -5. That means I want to move the file point in the backward direction, and here the whence constant should be from the current value. So from the 10th byte you move to the left hand side or in the backward direction. Let us see what the output will be. So you can see that the file pointer is positioned at 5th byte. So this is how you are going to make use of this fseek function, rewind function, and ftell. So you may be having a doubt that, sir, what is the value that I will get from the starting position if I move backward direction 5 bytes? What is that I will get? Right. So you are getting a value of 10. That means so this is all about the fseek function and rewind and ftell function. As I told that you can try the remaining programs to move the pointer in the backward direction or in the forward direction, whatever it may be. So before wrapping up, let us have a quick recap of what we have discussed. In this session, we started our discussion with two functions, that is the ftell function and the rewind function. Ftell is used to tell the position of the file pointer. That means the current position of the file pointer is being given by the ftell. And the syntax for this ftell is it accepts only one parameter, and the return type of this ftell is the long int. We have seen the example also. And similarly, the rewind function has the syntax which accepts only one parameter, that is the file pointer, and the return type is the void. Why? Because it is not returning anything. And this rewind function is used to make the file pointer to move to the starting position. And after this, we have discussed the example program to illustrate the rewind and ftell also. We have moved the pointer forward and backward, and we have seen how the pointer is going to move from in the forward direction or in the backward direction. So this is all about the ftell and rewind functions. Thank you one and all for joining the session.